Welcome, dear fans, friends and subscribers, to this cricket happening show, and welcome to the Tri-Series final report on the match which actually ended the Carlton Mid Tri-Series, where Australia had a comprehensive victory over England in the finals at the WACA in Perth. And not only that, this was also like a dress rehearsal for the World Cup 2015, as I said, when Australia and England actually face off each other in their first match of World Cup 2015, when they meet each other at a different ground. I think it's the MCG that they would be actually meeting. But well, Australia are definitely showing that they are definitely strong contenders, because they have won the series with not a single defeat. I mean, they won all the matches that they played, and that is something which is absolutely refreshing. And I think Australia are very, very strong contenders. In fact, I would say probably top contender for the World Cup 2015, I would say. And what a moment it would be if at all they could go on and lift the cup in their homeland itself. Well, let's get on to the match. And what a wonderful match we had here. The Carlton Mid One Day International Tri-Series, the final between Australia and England, which was played on a hard and bouncy WACA pitch in Perth. And England were the ones who actually won the toss. Morgan saw that the sky was a bit overcast, there were some cloudy conditions, and he decided that he will invite Australia to bat first. But it all started, and it was a good toss to win, I thought, for Morgan. And also I thought he made the right decision in inserting the Australians to bat. And we saw that the first wicket was taken in the first over itself, as James Anderson, who was getting a real movement in the pitch because of the cloudy conditions prevailing at the WACA in Perth. And also we could see there was a lot of bounce too. The first wicket to go was Aaron Finch, as he actually nicked an outswinger into the hands of Joe Root in the slips, and he was gone for a duck. So that was the very first over that James Anderson was bowling of the Australia innings, and he got a wicket of the third ball of the first over, and Australia didn't have a good start, and they were without any score or any runs on the board. Australia had lost their first wicket. After that, Steven Smith came in and joined David Warner, and we definitely saw that some of the balls that Anderson was bowling was really kicking off, like what it did the previous day when Mahendra Singh Dhoni was hit on the helmet. It was really kicking off, and the batsman had to be wary about it. And we saw one of those deliveries which really spit. David Warner, in the meanwhile, played one very good stroke, which he hit 2 boundaries in his knock of 12, before James Anderson gave them a double breakthrough there by getting the most irrepressible David Warner out early in the piece. As David Warner got a ball which actually stood up on him. He didn't expect the ball to bounce, but Anderson, as I said, was bowling well. He was getting movement, and because of the bounce, in fact, the ball lifted on David Warner, and all that David Warner could do was limply poke at it, and the catch was held by James Taylor, and David Warner was gone for 12 of 18 balls with 2 fours, and England were definitely over Australia here by having them at 33 for 2 in the 7th over. After that, it was George Bailey, the captain, walking in to join Steven Smith. Well, Steven Smith, right from the word go, the time he came to the crease, we saw that Steven Smith was unveiling some beautiful strokes. He was driving down the ground, he was driving well through the offside, and we saw that Steven Smith was meaning real business. He was not really thinking about what the situation was. He continued to play his strokes, and that was the only reason that the scoreboard was really moving. Otherwise, I think Australia would have really struggled. But Steven Smith decided that it's better to go and start playing his strokes rather than be at the safety of the crease, and that's what he was precisely doing. Bailey came in, and Bailey was a very well-planned move by Stuart Broad. First 3 balls really tested Bailey. First 5 balls, I would say, not giving any run. And finally, of the last delivery, Stuart Broad had got a short leg in place, and that's what precisely happened, as George Bailey got a ball which actually stood up on him, and that was Stuart Broad generating some good bounce out of the pitch, and George Bailey was a goner, as George Bailey was really taken aback because the ball really kicked off and he was taken by Taylor of the bowling of Broad for 2, and like Australian innings was not really going anywhere with a score on 46 for 3 in the 12th over. After that, it was Smith was still there at the crease, and he was joined by Glenn Maxwell. And when the score reached 60, there was more trouble for Australia. The well-settled Stephen Smith was gone. Now this was a wicket which was given to Moeen Ali. What happened was Stephen Smith was trying to actually he was coming down the wicket to Moeen Ali, the spinner, and in fact Stephen Smith missed the delivery. And what happened was Josh Butler, who was actually collecting the ball behind the stumps, also missed. And Stephen Smith probably thought that, he was under the impression that it's all over, and finally realized that, Butler has not taken the ball cleanly and tried to regain his crease. But by the time it was too late, as Butler had really gathered himself and he actually stumped Stephen Smith. So Stephen Smith probably taking it for granted that Butler had got him out, and there's no way, and suddenly realized that Butler had not cleanly collected the ball, and very unfortunately Stephen Smith had to go. Stump Butler, bowled by Moeen Ali for 40 or 50 balls with 5 fours, and Australia were in trouble at that time with a score reading 60 for 4 in the 18th over. Maxwell was joined in by Mitchell Marsh. Now, as I said, this was the time where the all-rounders were coming into the picture. At one side it was Maxwell, the other side was Mitchell Marsh, and from 60 for 4, Maxwell definitely tried to, Maxwell really, he actually saw to it that he was not going to play any strokes. He knew the situation, and he decided to really stay put at the crease, and he was really taking it easy. He was not attempting any rash strokes or any of those strokes that he is known for. Mitchell Marsh, on the other hand, was mixing up some good strokes with some very good running between the wickets, and both Maxwell and Marsh suddenly started. They were taking it very slowly. They were looking at the situation that Australia were in. It definitely demanded a very long partnership, and that came in the form of Glenn Maxwell and Mitchell Marsh, the all-rounders, as both of them put on a very good partnership for the 5th wicket, which really took the Australian score to more than 200 runs. They pushed on the score to 201, and Maxwell, as far as Maxwell was concerned, Maxwell took his time at the crease. As I said, he played a unnatural Maxwell game, I would say, because normally Maxwell likes to attack, but today we didn't see Maxwell attacking. He took his time at the crease, but any time he used to get a loose delivery, he used to dispatch it to the fence. And then finally, when the power play came, that is the time Maxwell really exploded into action, as he started bringing out all his strokes that he is known for, with the reverse sweep of Moeen Ali, and then he started hitting over the top of the fielders. There were a lot of bat swings going down the ground. He didn't hit any 6, but basically he was scoring a lot of boundaries, and there was real momentum into this Australian innings. At the other end, Mitchell Marsh was completely onto the English bowling. He was really slamming them for money. He went after Stephen Fenn, and suddenly this partnership was really blossoming. And as I said, but these two had added some valuable runs, as they had taken the score from 60 for 4 in the 18th over to 201 in the 41st over. So they had definitely done all the hard work, and they had brought this Australian innings to the business end of the innings there with this partnership. And that was the time this partnership was finally broken by Stuart Broad, who had Maxwell caught behind, but not before Maxwell making 95's highest score. But unfortunately he couldn't get to his century, which was very sad, as he was caught by Butler as he was keeping on trying to play his strokes even with the score on 95. As on 95 he was caught by Butler of the bowling of Broad from 95 of 98 balls with 15 fours, but he had definitely done the job for Australia. Mitchell Marsh was there. Mitchell Marsh also played one of the strokes that he played of Chris Wokes was a real stunner, because before anyone could realize, the ball had actually hit the fence. So that was the tremendous power that Mitchell Marsh showed when he was hitting those boundaries. And Mitchell Marsh was there, and once Maxwell was gone, Mitchell Marsh was looking good, and one thought that Mitchell Marsh will take this Australian innings to the finish. And that was the time there was a real gross misunderstanding between Brad Haddin, and I thought Brad Haddin was the culprit because he was the one who was calling Mitchell Marsh to the danger end, and Mitchell Marsh couldn't make it. He was gone, but he made 60 runs of 68 balls with 7 fours and 1 6. He was run out by an Anderson Butler combination, and that was the time. That was not a wicket that Australia would have liked to lose, but unfortunately they lost it 217 for 6, as Brad Haddin was joined in by James Faulkner. Once James Faulkner came and joined Brad Haddin himself was gone. Caught Taylor bowled broad for 9 of 12 balls with 1 4, which made the score 224 for 7. And from the last 3 overs, it was total explosion, and those explosions came in from James Faulkner, the all-rounder, who is a very good finisher. In fact, he started off. In fact, he teed off by sending Chris Wokes for 3 sixes. In fact, the 49th over yielded a lot of runs, as James Faulkner really climbed down to Chris Wokes. As Chris Wokes, one probably was thinking that he's going to bowl some Yorkers, because as you know, in the English county he has done very well, and it was very surprising to see that Chris Wokes was trying to bowl some slow bouncers, and all those slow bouncers were disappearing over the fence. And it was James Faulkner who was swinging hard, and he hit 3 consecutive sixes of the bowling of Chris Wokes, and he took 23 runs I reckon of the 49th over. And then finally James Faulkner finishing off, really taking this Australian score to 278 for 8 of 50 overs, when he cracked the 6 of the final delivery of the innings, when he put, I thought it was, if I'm not wrong, it was Stuart Broad or Anderson, I don't remember, but James Faulkner hit the final delivery of the innings for a massive 6 to finish on an unbeaten 50 of 24 balls with 4 fours and 4 sixes, and that really electrified this Australian innings, as Johnson was out for 3 of the bowling of Fenn, Stark was not out on not, and Australia finished on a very good score considering the pitch of 278 for 8 of their 50 overs. The bowling, James Anderson, I thought he bowled superbly. 10 overs, 2 maidens, 2 for 38. But Chris Wokes bowled, I thought it was the costliest that Chris Wokes has bowled in his entire one-day international career here. His 10 overs cost him 89 runs, and it was very sad to see that Chris Wokes did not attempt the Yorker at all. He kept on bowling slow bouncers, despite James Faulkner actually hitting him over the fence. Broad 10 overs, 1 minute 3 for 55. For the first time in the Tri-Series, we saw that Stuart Broad really hit his straps here. Stephen Finn, 10 overs, no maiden, 1 for 53. And Moeen Ali, 10 overs, no maiden, 1 for 39, also bowled excellently. So 278, England came in to actually start the chase with both their openers, Moeen Ali and Ian Bell. And Ian Bell was the first victim. In fact, Ian Bell was gone when 18 runs were added by Ian Bell and Moeen Ali. Ian Bell was the first to go, as Josh Hazlewood had Bell edging to Brad Haddin behind the stumps. So he was gone for 8 of 9 balls with 2 fours. And after that, it was Mitchell Johnson coming into the mix. Mitchell Johnson today coming into the team, into the Australian team, really showed what Australia was missing, as he came in and first he picked up the wicket of James Taylor first by getting him caught by Maxwell of the bowling, and he was gone for 4. That was the first wicket for Johnson, which made it 35 for 2. And then Moeen Ali receiving a real snorter from Johnson, where Moeen Ali, trying to avoid the ball, had to fend at it, and Aaron Finch taking a very easy catch in the slips. Moeen Ali was gone for 26 of 30 balls with 5 fours, which made it 46 for 3. And then Morgan, what he did is the very next delivery, he got a very important scalp, that of the English skipper Ian Morgan, by really producing a beautiful delivery which went on to shave the off stump of Morgan, and Morgan was bowled by Johnson for naught. That was bowled with tremendous pace there, and in the England innings were in real tatters at that stage at 46 for 4. Joe Root was the man who was there at the crease and Johnson had gone on to take 3 wickets of Taylor, Ali and Morgan, and really left England really searching over there with a score on 46 for 4. After that, it was Ravi Bopara and Joe Root at the crease. Well, Joe Root was looking good. Joe Root and Bopara were trying to actually slowly steady the ship, I would say. But well, when the score reached 71, James Faulkner, who had just come into the bowling attack for Australia, immediately struck with his very first delivery as he got Joe Root LBW for 25 of 37 balls with 2 fours, and that was 71 for 5 in the 20th over, and half the side were in the pavilion. Butler was there along with Bopara, and Butler would have definitely thought that he could do something of what he did against India. Ravi Bopara was at the other end, and Josh Butler, well, he tried his bit. He made 17 runs of 22 balls with 3 fours, and then it was Maxwell coming and picking up the English wickets. First, he picked up the wicket of Josh Butler as he was caught by the substitute Cummins for 17 of 22 balls with 3 fours, which made it 98 for 6. And at the same score, Maxwell, of the very first delivery that Chris Woakes received, Chris Woakes driving back to Maxwell and Maxwell holding the catch, and Woakes was gone for naught. So that was the time England's score was 98 for 7 at the halfway mark at the 25th over, and then it was Ravi Bopara still there, but it definitely needed some company from Broad. Well, Broad definitely provided that by adding 32 runs along with Bopara, but Broad, well, he was really aggressive. He was trying to see to it that he could really give some impetus to the innings and see to it that his strokes come out. He did that by slamming 2 fours and 2 sixes in his knock of 24 of 20 balls. But then Maxwell once again coming in, as I said, Broad taking the bait, trying to hit Maxwell out of the ground, was caught by Cummins, which made the score 130 for 8. And after that, it was too much to expect, as Ravi Bopara himself, who had no other choice but to really stay put at the crease, and probably the time he decided when Stephen Finn came to the crease, he tried to play an attacking stroke, and that was the end of Ravi Bopara, caught by Bailey of the bowling of Maxwell for 33 of 59 balls with 1 4, which made it 130 for 8, 160 for 9, and then finally the match ended with Stephen Finn clean bowled by Hazelwood for 6 of 36 balls. Anderson remained not out on 5 of 2 balls with 1 4. England were all out for 166. Thus Australia winning the 2015 Carlton Mid One Day International Tri-Series and taking the cup, and 166 all out, as I said. So it was a huge win by 112 runs, and this would really would have really lifted their morale. Now, not the morale, I would say, really lifted them, and as I said, it was a dress rehearsal for the World Cup 2015, because Australia and England would be clashing. That would be the first match for both the teams when they clash at the MCG. I think it was on the Valentine's Day, on the start of the World Cup, that is on 14th of February. In Australia definitely having the wood, and Australia showing that they are absolutely strong contenders, because the reason being they have blanked both India and England, and they have not lost a single match. So definitely it says that Australia is absolutely invincible on their homeland. Mitchell Starc, 7 overs, no maiden, none for 40. I couldn't make any impression yesterday. Hazelwood, I thought, bowled well, 6.1 overs, 2 maidens, 2 for 13. Mitchell Johnson was absolutely bowling with lots of fire, 7 overs, 2 maidens, 3 for 27. Mitchell Marsh, 7 overs, none for 18, was he was absolutely on the mark while bowling. Maxwell really did a wonderful all-round performance, 9 overs, no maiden, 46 runs and 4 wickets, took away the man of the match, coupled with his 95 runs that he scored. James Faulkner, 2.3 overs, 1 maiden, 11 runs and 1 wicket, and Aaron Finch just bowled 3 overs, which went for 3 runs. That was the last when he bowled 3 balls. I think he was actually filling in for James Faulkner. The reason that let me tell you, James Faulkner, unfortunately, one hopes that he's fit for the World Cup. The news is not good, but probably it's too early to say anything. One only hopes that James Faulkner is fully fit, because he's such a very good finisher in a one-day international game, and I sincerely feel that James Faulkner, and there is news that James Faulkner might be doubtful for the World Cup because of his injury. One only hopes that he recovers and he definitely plays for Australia in the World Cup, because there could not be any bigger regret than not playing in the World Cup, which is played in their own homeland. So one really wishes good luck to James Faulkner, who is a wonderful all-rounder, and as I said, he's a great finisher as far as one-day cricket is concerned. Player of the series went to Mitchell Starc, who has been always delivering the goods, and he was the one who was responsible for Australia getting some quick breakthroughs and piling on the pressure on both India and England. Well, dear fans and subscribers, so this is done and dusted. The Australia have won the cup, but one thing I would like to say, like yesterday, I know I disappointed you, dear fans and subscribers, that I couldn't actually start the preview of all the teams in World Cup 2015. But I'm sorry, I'm not giving you any promise, because yesterday I told you, but I couldn't come on and do it. But today I'm going to give it a try again. It's not a promise. I will try. I'm trying to see to it that I can do all the previews. I'll definitely be starting with the minnows, like the new teams which are starting, and then I will go further and further. So just keep an eye, dear fans, subscribers. But again, I can't promise anything, but I will definitely try to do it for you, dear friends and subscribers. Well, on this note, dear friends, subscribers, I'm winding up my cricket show for today, this on a Sunday, but not again promising you, but it's quite possible that you might see more cricket happening shows today, this on a Sunday, previewing the teams, all the teams which are playing in World Cup 2015. Well, that's it from me here from my studios on this Cricket Happening show at present. Rest in the next cricket shows that I will be talking to you. Until then, it's goodbye for today. Bye.